If you're on the fence for the Lenovo Legion 5i Pro or 5 Pro, you just gotta get off the fence. This is one of the best bang for buck laptops that money can buy right now, especially for creators and even gamers. But my channel talks specifically to creative professionals. This is about a $1,500 laptop, whether you buy the Intel version or the Ryzen 5 version, and nothing else comes close at that price point. From the build quality to the performance to the customization in the Lenovo Vantage Center, this thing just has so much to offer. We're gonna dive into all of that right now. We're gonna talk about some things that I love, some things that I don't like too much, and overall, yeah, I think you should buy this laptop. So this is about my, a little bit over a month review. Now, first and foremost, the performance. And you see increased performance over last year's 5800H. And if you're looking at the i7 version over the i7 11800H. It's about a 15 to 20% increase in performance, so nothing dramatic, but at the $1,500 price point, it really makes sense to get this year's model. You might be able to save a little bit of money going with last year's model. However, I really think that the price that this is at right now, you might as well get the latest performance that this has to offer. Now, I did see better performance coming out of the i7 version overall. However, we see better battery life coming out of the Ryzen version. Ryzen just has a little bit more optimization in regards to battery life, but again, we saw better performance in Intel. Personally, I would go a little bit more performance. I'm not someone who's away from my charger too much, and so for me, I like that extra performance kick in the Intel version. Now, when I have these comparisons in mind, I'm comparing both the RTX 3060 versus the RTX 3060 with the Ryzen 7 6800H versus the i7 12700H, both with 16 gigs of RAM. Now, one of the things that allows this laptop to get such great battery life is the access to iGPU mode. Basically, what you can do is you can click onto hybrid iGPU mode in the Lenovo Vantage Center, and that takes you to usage of only the CPU. So the GPU turns off and you get the best of the CPU battery life. Now, this will limit some of your performance, but it does give you greater battery life. And then when you get to where you're going, you can plug in the charger and access full performance, get the GPU up and running and export or playback or whatever it might be. For the $1,500 price point, it absolutely blows me away at how well this laptop is built. We have an aluminum top cover, aluminum bottom cover, aluminum keyboard deck. The only place where you're gonna see plastic is around the bezel of the screen, as well as these back vents here. So this is all plastic here. The ledge, the vent, and then the side vents on the side of the chassis. So definitely some plastic, but overall it's an aluminum build. It's not too heavy. It's a little on the thicker side. It just is such a firm, solid package. Even doing the tap test, great tap on the top cover, great tap on the bottom cover. It's just so rigid and it has really great build materials and it's really well assembled. You can even see here on the side panel that there's no catchy edge there on that side panel. Super nice. I just love how this thing's assembled. Now, I know I have all this talk about the pricing, but just so we're covered, please check the live pricing in the links in the description below. It might not be exactly where I think it is at this point. So check the live pricing, and if you do make a purchase, I will get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Now, regarding the port selection, that's another area this absolutely wins out. You have 3 USB Type A's. You have 2 on the back and then 1 on the right side panel, as well as your headphone jack and manual cutoff switch for the webcam. Then you have USB Type C on the back panel, as well as 2 USB-Cs on the left side panel. And then you have your network port and HDMI. So this laptop is absolutely loaded with ports. Recently, my wife is using her computer and she was trying to find a place to plug in a secondary USB Type A, and there wasn't one. I think she was using the Asus ProArt StudioBook Pro 16 OLED and only had 1 USB Type A port, so you won't have any issues with the connectivity on this laptop. Well, unless you're just like a port plug-in peripheral madman or madwoman, then maybe you'd have some issues. But overall, in general, I think you'll be fine. Now, the thermals on both laptops are very good. You can see the thermal results coming up on the screen. Nothing in the high 80s. Everything was at the mid to low 80s and mostly in the 70s. I saw the Intel laptop performing a little bit better in regards to thermal. So if you want a cooler laptop, I would push you towards Intel. Intel just has a little bit cooler chips currently right now in the game of Intel versus Ryzen. Now, the Lenovo Legion 5i Pro has fantastic performance, but one area I've always overlooked is the Wi-Fi connection I'm actually sending to the device, because no matter how much performance I have, if I don't have a good connection to the internet, so many of the apps that I use will run really janky. And so recently I upgraded to the Motorola Q14 system. Now Motorola sent this over and they sponsored a video recently on my channel, but I've been wanting to tell more people about this because little did I know, I was paying for 1000 megabytes per second internet speed, but what was hitting my laptop was 240 megabytes per second. And when I upgraded to the Motorola Q14 mesh Wi-Fi system, I was able to get up to 600 megabytes per second Wi-Fi speeds. Now, not only was the Wi-Fi faster, but with this system, I was able to spread that to every single corner of my house, where before I was actually only seeing about 180 megabytes per second when I got farther away from my router. Not only is this system 6 gigahertz, but also has a 2.5 gigabyte LAN port as well as multi-channel selector, so you can customize your Wi-Fi to get the best speeds possible. Using the MotoSync app powered by Minim, you can set up ad blocker, parental controls, and even threat scans, which are free compared to other apps which cost up to $99 per year. So if you want to learn more about the Q14 mesh Wi-Fi system, then definitely click the link below this video or check out the full video out on my channel. Now the 16-inch display is beautiful. I just think it is such a nice aspect ratio. You can fit plenty on your screen. You have a lot of room for working on your projects, for putting frames next to one another or even stacking them. There's just a lot of flexibility on a larger aspect ratio screen. Now the screen is very bright. It gets upwards of 500 nits of screen brightness. However, the color gamut range is not 100% Adobe RGB. It does have a high sRGB, but this is not going to be your #1 best pick for a color accurate screen. You're going to want to look for something with like an OLED display. For instance, like the Asus ProArt StudioBook OLED I mentioned just a moment ago. But for the bang for buck that this laptop offers, it's a fantastic panel. Now, I know I talked a little bit about the weight and thickness earlier, and I said it wasn't that bad, but this is no thin and light laptop. And stack on a massive 300-watt charger block into this package, as you can see here, and this isn't exactly the lightest on-the-go carry. It's not anything that's obscenely heavy. Throw it in your backpack, it's not going to be too bad, but if you're looking for a thin and light laptop, I definitely wouldn't recommend this as your 16-inch on-the-go laptop. I would, however, consider checking out the Asus Republic of Gamer Flow X16. A little bit thinner, a little bit lighter, a little bit smaller of a power brick. I have full dedicated reviews on this laptop. You can definitely check those out over on my channel. Not only is this laptop the best bang for buck, but we also had Lenovo send over 3 Lenovo Legion 5 Pros to give away when we reach 100,000 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on the announcement video when we pass 100,000 subscribers about how you could enter to win a Lenovo Legion 5 Pro. Links in the description if you're ready to make a purchase. Likes if this video has brought you some value, and don't forget to subscribe to help us reach 100,000 subscribers. I'll see you here in the next video.